Picture this, a time when every penny mattered, when budgeting wasn't just a good habit, but a means of survival. Welcome to the world of frugality. It's a world that our ancestors knew all too well during the Great Depression, and it's a world that modern preppers can learn a lot from. In the 1930s, families had to stretch every dollar, make every penny count. There were no credit cards to fall back on, no quick loans. You had to plan, to prioritize, to make tough choices. And you know what? That's exactly what frugality is about. It's the art of managing resources effectively, of finding value in every cent. So, how can we apply these principles today? Well, it starts with budgeting. Knowing where every penny is going, and more importantly, why it's going there. It's about making conscious choices, about understanding the difference between wants and needs. For instance, do you need that brand new survival gear, or could you make do with what you have? Could you repair that old camping stove instead of buying a new one? Could you grow your own food instead of relying solely on store-bought supplies? Frugality also means being proactive. It means planning for the future, saving for the rainy days. It's about building a safety net, one penny at a time. It's about being ready for the unexpected, because let's face it, when the SHTF, the unexpected, is going to be the new normal. And finally, frugality is about creativity. It's about finding new ways to use old things, about repurposing and recycling. It's about thinking outside the box, about turning problems into solutions. So, let's embrace frugality, not as a burden, but as a tool that can help us navigate through tough times, that can help us make the most of what we have. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you have, but how well you use it. Remember, frugality isn't about stinginess, it's about resource management. It's about survival. In a world where everything is disposable, let's journey back to a time when people knew the value of everything they owned. Our ancestors from the Great Depression era lived by a simple yet profound mantra: waste not, want not. This wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was a way of life. It was about seeing potential where others saw trash, about being resourceful when resources were scarce. Let's talk about the principles of reusing, recycling, and repurposing. Back in the day, every item had a second life, a third life, sometimes even a fourth. A worn-out shirt became a cleaning rag, a broken chair transformed into firewood, an old tin can turned into a planter. Nothing was thrown away until it had given all it could. Today we can apply these principles in our own lives. Got a pile of newspapers? Don't just toss them. Use them as mulch in your garden or as stuffing in your winter boots. Got a broken tool? Fix it. Don't replace it. And if it's beyond repair, salvage the parts for other projects. Next, let's consider the clothes we wear. In the Depression, garments were mended, altered, and handed down until they were threadbare. We can do the same. Learn to sew, patch up your jeans, turn an old dress into a stylish skirt. Remember, fashion is fleeting, but utility is timeless. And what about food? Leftovers were never wasted. They became the next day's stew or pie. Bones were boiled for broth, vegetable scraps turned into compost. We can follow suit, make the most of your meals, plan for leftovers, compost your kitchen waste. It's not just about saving money, it's about respecting the resources we have. Finally, let's embrace the concept of repurposing. An old ladder can become a bookshelf, a worn-out suitcase, a coffee table. It's about looking at things not for what they are, but for what they could be. It's about creativity, ingenuity, and resilience. Waste not, want not. It's a mantra for survival, a principle for life, and in uncertain times, it's a lesson we would do well to remember. Food is life. And during the Great Depression, it sprouted right in the backyard. Victory gardens, as they were called, became a beacon of hope and resilience in a time of scarcity. These small plots of land, cultivated with care and determination, provided families with much-needed sustenance when store-bought food was a luxury they could seldom afford. The concept of victory gardens harks back to World War I, but it was during the Great Depression that it truly took root in the American consciousness. As the economy faltered, families turned their backyards, rooftops, and even city parks into burgeoning gardens, growing everything from tomatoes and carrots to beans and beets. It wasn't just about food, it was about taking control in a world that seemed to be spiraling out of control. Fast forward to today, and the victory garden concept is more relevant than ever. In an uncertain world, knowing how to grow your own food can be a game changer. And the best part? You don't need acres of farmland to start. A small plot, a few pots on a sunny windowsill, even a vertical garden on a balcony can yield a surprising amount of fresh, nutritious food. But how do you start a victory garden? First, choose your location wisely. Most vegetables need a good 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. Next, pick your crops. Choose plants that are suitable for your climate and season, and don't be afraid to experiment with different varieties. Remember, diversity is strength in a garden. Then let's talk about soil. Rich, fertile soil is the foundation of a good garden. Composting is a fantastic way to enrich your soil and reduce kitchen waste. And don't forget about water. Rainwater collection systems can be a great way to conserve water and keep your garden thriving. Lastly, consider permaculture principles. This means designing your garden in a way that mimics natural ecosystems, creating a self-sustaining system that requires minimal intervention. Think companion planting, utilizing native plants, and encouraging beneficial insects. Your garden, your lifeline. Plant it, nurture it, survive. When doctors were a luxury, the kitchen became the pharmacy. This wisdom from the Great Depression era is a testament to our ancestors' resourcefulness. They cultivated an intimate understanding of nature's pharmacy, using herbs and plants to create simple yet effective remedies. For example, garlic was a popular choice, known for its antibacterial properties. It was used to treat everything from a simple cough to more serious infections. They also understood the power of prevention. Regular physical activity, a balanced diet, and proper hygiene were just as important as any home remedy. And let's not forget the potent power of rest and relaxation, the body's natural healing process. In a world where we can't always rely on modern medicine, these simple preventive measures and home remedies could be the difference between falling ill and staying healthy. So remember, health is wealth, and sometimes it grows on trees. In times of crisis, survival isn't a solo act, it's a community performance. During the Great Depression, communities banded together, forming networks of mutual aid and bartering systems. Money was scarce, but skills, labor, and goods were not. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, each had something valuable to offer, and each had needs that the others could fill. Today, we can mirror that spirit of cooperation and resourcefulness. Creating strong community networks allows us to pool resources, share skills, and provide mutual support. It's about more than just trading goods. It's about building relationships based on trust and reciprocity, creating a safety net that money can't buy. Remember, the strength of a network lies not in the possessions of the individual, but in the bonds between them. So reach out, connect, and remember, together we survive. Apart we struggle. In a world of excess, we forget the art of sufficiency. We're conditioned to want more, to need more. But what if we flipped that script? What if we focused on making do with what we have, or even doing without? During the Great Depression, people had to prioritize needs over wants. It was a matter of survival. They found creative ways to solve problems with the resources at hand. They mended clothes instead of buying new ones. They repurposed items for different uses. They made meals out of simple, inexpensive ingredients. This mindset is crucial for modern preppers. In a crisis, we might not have access to all the conveniences we're used to. That's when the ability to adapt, to make do, becomes a lifeline. It's about redefining what's necessary and finding satisfaction in simplicity. Survival isn't about having it all, it's about making it all work. When the going gets tough, the tough get skilled. This mantra rings loud and clear as we delve into the essential skills that made a difference in the Great Depression era. These skills weren't just handy, they were vital lifelines for survival. First off, sewing. It's more than just a quaint hobby. It was a lifeline during the Depression. A rip in your shirt, a tear in your pants. These weren't just minor inconveniences, they were serious problems. But with a needle, thread, and a bit of know-how, families could extend the life of their clothing for years. Today, the ability to mend and make do can save money and resources, valuable commodities in a crisis. Next, we have basic carpentry. When funds were low and new furniture was a luxury, people turned to their own two hands. They built their own tables, chairs, even homes. Carpentry isn't just about making furniture. It's about understanding how things fit together, how to solve problems, and how to create something from nothing. In a survival situation, these are invaluable skills. Finally, repair work. During the Depression, if something broke, you didn't just replace it, you fixed it. This mindset can be applied to everything from appliances to vehicles. It's about understanding the inner workings, diagnosing problems, and finding solutions. In an era where we're so used to disposable goods, learning to repair can be a game changer. These skills, sewing, basic carpentry, and repair work, aren't just for the history books. They're for us, for now. They offer more than just practical benefits. They teach resourcefulness, problem solving, and self-reliance. traits that are not just useful, but crucial in a crisis. In the end, skills are your survival toolbox. It's about having a wide range of abilities at your disposal, ready to tackle whatever life throws at you, so keep it well stocked. Remember, when it comes to survival, it's not about having more, it's about doing more with what you have. When the pantry runs dry, nature's supermarket awaits. You see, our ancestors understood that the earth is a treasure trove of nourishment, filled with edible and medicinal plants. Foraging was a vital supplement to their diets, a skill that we can reclaim today. First off, safety is paramount. Always ensure you're completely confident in identifying a plant before consuming it. Misidentification can lead to serious consequences. It's also crucial to respect the environment and only take what you need. Now let's talk about the bounty that awaits. From wild berries and nuts to edible greens and mushrooms, the variety is truly astonishing. Beyond nutrition, many of these natural wonders have medicinal properties, offering natural remedies for common ailments. Understanding your local environment is key. Every region has its unique flora, each with its own set of benefits. Remember, nature provides if we know where to look. In an era before refrigeration, food didn't go to waste, it went into jars. This scene is all about the art of preserving and canning food, a survival skill that kept many a pantry stocked during the Great Depression, and one that could prove invaluable in a crisis. Preserving food is about more than just making pickles. It's about extending the life of your harvest, making the most of what you have, and ensuring a stable food supply, no matter what the future holds. Canning, for instance, is a method of preservation that involves sealing food in airtight containers and heating them to kill or weaken any bacteria, yeasts, or molds that could cause the food to spoil. This process creates a vacuum seal, keeping the contents safe from the outside world. Fruits, vegetables, meats, and more can be canned, providing a diverse menu even in lean times. Drying foods is another effective preservation method. By removing the moisture from food, we inhibit the growth of bacteria, yeasts, and molds. There are many ways to dry food, from air drying to using an oven or a dehydrator. Fruits, vegetables, herbs, and even meats can be dried and stored for future use. And remember, it's not just about survival, it's about quality of life. Preserving food allows us to enjoy a variety of foods year-round, adding flavor and nutrition to our meals even when fresh produce is scarce. But don't think of these as mere survival tactics. They're also a way to reclaim control over our food supply, to know exactly what we're eating, and to reduce our reliance on the commercial food industry. These methods may seem old-fashioned, but they've stood the test of time for a reason. They're reliable, they're practical, and they're accessible to everyone. No matter where you live or what resources you have, you can preserve food. Food preservation is the key to long-term survival. Master it, and you'll never go hungry. We've journeyed through time, learning from our ancestors' resilience and resourcefulness. We've seen how they transformed scarcity into abundance, hardship into opportunity, and uncertainty into a blueprint for survival. From the art of frugality to the power of community networking, from the wisdom of making do or doing without, to the essential skills for self-sufficiency, these strategies are more than just lessons from the past. They are our lifeline for the future. As we face uncertain futures, let's remember, survival isn't just about enduring, it's about thriving no matter what.